Good morning, folks. How are you doing? That's right. I think it's time to work on the yew. It's pretty shaggy. I haven't worked on it in a while, and I'd like to give it a styling. So what do I want to accomplish with this tree? So the sedum is pretty shaggy. I'm gonna prune that back quite a bit. Then here, the base of the tree. I actually love the way this looks with the moss growing over the nabari. But despite what modern bonsai practice says, I think that this moss is probably damaging this bark, and I want to take it off. And the big wire on the trunk here that has bent the trunk over here to the side and then forward, I want to take that off because it's been on for at least a year, maybe longer, and I'm afraid it's probably damaging the trunk. And I think it's done its job. The tree's grown quite a bit, but we'll see. I'll take that off. There's also some other smaller wires on here that I will remove, and then I will prune and rewire the tree. So that is the plan. All right, so first we'll take care of the sedum. Alright, there we go. Alright, so next, I'm going to do the moss on the trunk later. I'm going to take this wire off, and I'd like to unwind it, but I'm afraid I'll damage the tree if I do that, so I'm just going to go ahead and try and cut it with these wire cutters. Yeah, it works just fine. It's pretty fat wire. I think it's like 7mm, but it's actually it's been useful a couple times. I used it for this and to bend my Douglas fir a branch down that was pretty massive. But this honestly could have probably used more like a size smaller, I think. And I'm kind of, as I'm breaking this, I'm kind of seeing if the trunk relaxes. I think it relaxed a little bit, but I think the wire's done its job. Oh yeah, that took all the tension off actually. Alright, I think that is all the wire on this tree. Alright, so I've been looking at the tree and actually put some wire on the upper part of the trunk here. Had some pretty big thick wire and played around a little bit. I have the tree facing the new front. This was the front, but I want to tilt it this way whenever I repot it. And basically I'm just going to bend this down a little bit and bend this down a little bit, and probably some of these upper branches, some of these, and then prune off some of these shoots. So yeah, I'm just gonna start working, and I'll show myself on the camera, but it might be more of a like, I'll show you the after picture because it's gonna probably take me a while to this wiring. I am a slow wirer, as I've said many times before. So here we go, I'm excited. Alright, so here's what I've done so far. I'm just wired the major branches down. That being this major branch, the defining branch I hear it often called. I also took this little guy, a sprout. I didn't plan on growing a branch there, but it just kind of sprouted, and I didn't prune it off. I might prune it off eventually, but I think I'm going to keep it for now. I actually wired this down with like a guy wire from this gin. We'll probably prune this off right here, the vertical growth. Then this branch wired down, wired the trunk up again and curved it, and wired this and this really thin branch, but I want to become a pretty major branch. So that's what I've done so far, and so now the plan is to do a combination of things. One being, sometimes I'll prune off large branches, which I'm going to do with this right now. It's kind of a long, lanky branch. I'm just going to take off this whole branch. So I probably won't do many big cuts like that going forward, but maybe a few. I'll also do things like shorten. So for instance, this, I'll just take it and
prune it back. There's a bud, you can see a bud right back here. So in some cases I'll just shorten the foliage like that. And then in other cases, like right here, I took a branchlet and I wired it the way it was kind of popping up. I wired it down. So I'm gonna do a combination of those three things now across the tree. So I'll get started. Okay, so I've worked through this branch and this branch. And you can see I've just kind of flattened the pad a little bit, flattened this pad a little bit. Haven't really wired much, and you know, I'm leaving some things like this little branch. I mean, I don't know if I want a branch there, but I think I do. And I don't want it. I could just prune this off and this off, but I don't want it super manicured. I feel like I keep saying that about my trees, but it's just true. I don't want to wire every branch. I don't want everything to be perfectly just laid out and set. And I pretty much cut the tip off most of these growth tips, so that they won't keep extending, but they'll bifurcate either there or further back. And I do get, one thing I love about yew is you get back buds. So I have like this back bud, I'm just gonna leave that. I have some back budding right in here, I'm gonna leave that. So I really love how these back bud. Because these branches, when I very first cut them, they were really long. When I first started this, I cut them pretty short, and they didn't have many branches, many shoots lower back on the branch. But this thing, definitely, I can tell, it's slow, but it does back bud. So this is done, this is done. Now I'm gonna work on the top and probably just, for the most part, prune off a lot of these growth tips. And maybe I'll do the odd bit of wire here and there. So I was just doing this off camera, but I thought, you know, I'll just show myself doing this. So it's a couple days later, and I think I'm finally done with this tree. Over the last couple days, I've done little tweaks here and there. I'm positioning small branches with fine wire, pruning things off here and there. I think it's finally ready to be done with the styling. And really happy with how it's turned out. I got this tree 3 years ago from my local garden center, and I remember getting it this time of year because it was on sale. And this is a great time of year to get trees often. A lot of garden centers are trying to move their inventory because they don't want to overwinter it. So I got this thing on sale. I think it cost maybe $30. I think it was actually maybe less than that. This tree, like I said, recently, it honestly is becoming one of my more favorite trees. Definitely my top 15. It's got a lot of things going for it. It's got good taper. I've put this trunk movement into it, so it has an interesting trunk line. And I do like the toughness of yew. They can grow in shade. They can grow in full sun. And they back bud on old wood, and that's been advantageous for styling this tree for sure, that ability to back bud. And I do have a couple berries on it still that are green, but I'm excited for them to turn red. Just an FYI, yews are poisonous, so don't eat those berries. I guess the actual fruit is edible, but not the seed inside. That's what's poisonous. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend eating these. Anyway, yeah, happy with this tree. I haven't cleaned up the moss yet because I wanted to show it with the moss on the trunk. I love the way this looks. Looks like it's been in the pot a long time, so I really love that. But I think I will do that here shortly, maybe off camera. It just has to happen because I do think this moss is perhaps damaging the bark. Anyway, hope you're doing well, and until next time, happy bonsaiing.